Good morning. Today is Tuesday, the 15th day of Iyar, and we begin today. We continue today, chapter 48. We in this chapter, the Alter Rebbe goes on to explain the distance that there is between God and the creation. And the reason why he's explaining this, as we explained yesterday, because here the Alter Rebbe is trying to guide us how to develop love to Hashem. And the more we understand, the more we appreciate what God does for us, how much He lowers Himself, how much greater He is than anything in this world. And yet He contracts His light, lowers Himself to bring us to existence, to sustain us. The more we understand it, the more we will appreciate, and will help us to reciprocate in loving Hashem, and will help us also to understand why we should also do on our own, in our side, to remove ourselves on the side and give ourselves to Hashem. So for this reason, Alter Rebbe goes on to explain, although he says this is not the place and time to explain this concept in details. It is a very deep concept, understanding the distance, the greatness of Hashem, the infinity of God. But in short, it brings in the points this idea, this concept, so we have some kind of an understanding that will help us in our service of Hashem, in doing the Torah, following the mitzvahs, and to do it with a feeling of love to Hashem. So let's continue what the Alter Rebbe says. Says the Alter Rebbe now, Proteus atzimtzumim, eichuma, ein kan mekoim biyurim. To go into the details of the contractions, how they achieve their effect, what they actually are, this is not the place for the explanation. However, the Alter Rebbe says I'm going to explain it in a general manner. Ach, derech klal, but in general, hein bechinas hester vehelen ve'amshochas ha'oyer ve'achayus. In general, it is something the nature of an obscuring and concealment of the flow of light and vitality. Meaning that the flow and light of vitality that Hashem brings down to create this world is concealed and obscured. Shelo yoyer ve'yumshach latachtoinim b'bchinas gilui leislabesh bohen ulachloisom lius yesh me'ayin. That the light, the way it is, should not shine, should not illuminate and be drawn down to the tachtoinim, the lower creatures, in a revealed manner, pervading them and acting in them and animating to bring them in a way that it should become yesh me'ayin, like existing something from nothing. Ki'im me'at me'ze eir oyer v'chayas. And only an extremely minute measure of the light and vitality is enclosed in the creatures, so that they be in a state of finitude and limitations. In other words, if the life force of Hashem would be revealed, we wouldn't be existing. Everything from the infinite you cannot come to creating an existing finite, limited being. You need to have the contraction. The contraction ensures that the life that comes down to this world to create this world is a limited one. And this life, says the Alter Rebbe, this light, is very, very minuscule, a very small light. Umamash keloi chashive legabe bchinas ha'or bli gvul v'tachlis. It is completely without any comparison. It is as not existing compared to the endless light, the light that is infinite light. In other words, the light of Hashem that came after the contraction, that comes down to animate and to sustain this world, is like, has no comparison at all. There's no relation to the light, which is the endless light. And there is no proportion and relationship between them at all. And the Alter Rebbe is going to use an example of numbers. Kanoida, Pirush Milas Erech B'Misparim, as the term proportion is understood in number values. She'echad b'mispar yesh lo erech legabe mispar elef alofim. Because number one has a relation to a million. Shu chelik echad mini elef alofim. For it is 1/1,000,000th part of it. If you have $1 in the pocket, it is valuable for you. But if you have $1 million, then $1 has very, very little value compared to the million. However, the $1 million is made of million single dollars. So there is a relation. But in regards to a thing that transcends finitude, is beyond limitation, beyond numbers. There is no number, however great, that can be relative to it. If you're talking about the theoretical endless dollars, endless numbers, then no number you can think of, however great it is, has any value whatsoever compared to the infinite numbers. Shafilu elef alfei alofim v'ribui revavois einon afilu ke'erech mispar echad legabe elef alfei alofim v'ribui revavois. It says 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000,000, when compared to infinity, they don't have any relevancy of the value of one in comparison with 1,000,000,000 or 1,000,000,000. In other words, if you have $1 trillion in the bank, what's $1? Gunished, nothing. That's nothing. But if you have $1 trillion, compare it to an infinite number, the trillion has less significance to the infinite number than the $1 compared to the trillion. But the number is completely considered and accounted as nothing at all. The big number, the trillion, is considered the 1 and the trillion are exactly the same way, the same value compared to the infinite number. Both of them are not valued at all, because this is infinite. Says the Alter Rebbe, he's using this example to understand the relation of the light, the reduced light, the light of Hashem that animates us, This light that animates the entire world, the life and the light and the energy that we have, that animates an entire world with all its billions and trillions different creatures, is nothing at all worth compared to the light of Hashem, which is the concealed light, which is the infinite light of Hashem. That's what Alter Rebbe is explaining. And exactly so, the quality of this minute illumination, that illumination that comes from Hashem, which is after the contraction, that Hashem contracted his light. This light that animates itself and it clothes itself in the higher and the lower worlds, to provide them with sustenance and life. So take this light of Hashem, it's an amazing light, yeah? It animates a whole world. Not only this world, even the spiritual worlds. He says the Olam is El Yonim, the higher spiritual worlds are also animated by this light that comes after the contraction. And yet, compare this to the infinite, ultimate, unlimited light of Hashem, which comes before Hashem contracted his light. They have no value at all. Just like the trillion has no value compared to the infinite number. So compare this legabe erech oiragonus v'nelam, when compared with the quality of the hidden and concealed light, shehu b'bchinas ein sof, which is in an infinite order. Ve'einoi mislabe shu mashpia ba'olam is b'bchinas gilui lachayosam. And this light, this hidden and concealed light, doesn't come, it doesn't extend its influence in the world in a revealed manner. It is only encompasses them from above. V'nikra soivev kol almin. And it is called soivev kol almin, which means encompassing all the worlds. The light that fills the world and pervades all worlds, the contracted light after the contraction, that is called memale kalamin. Because this is the world that the light that fills the world, animating it and clothes itself in every little creature. But the light that is above contraction is called soivev kalamin. It encompasses the world. And Alter Rebbe clarifies and says we shouldn't think when we're talking about encompassing the world, meaning that is in space, that the light is a physical space around the world, so on. Says Alter Rebbe, no. The meaning of this is not that it encircles and encompasses from above spatially. God forbid. Because when you're talking in spiritual matters, the space, the category of space does not exist. It's not applicable. There's no space. God is above space and time. So what does it mean when we're saying encompassing? The meaning of that encircling, encompassing from above is meaning to say that the revelation of this influence is, when we're talking about the revelation of this influence, this is considered encompassing, meaning it's not revealed, because there is the revealed life is called al-halbasha, that encloses itself, as the Alter Rebbe goes on and says, Ki ashpah shu bebchinas gilui ba'olamas nikris v'shem al-basha. The influence which is in a category of revelation in the world, that is referred to as investitude. It clothes itself. Shemislabeshes ba'olamas, being clothed within the world. because they receive the influence that they receive is clothed and comprehended by them. Whereas their influence, which is not revealed, it is concealed, and the worlds cannot grasp it. This light is not termed as clothed and vested in it, but encircling and encompassing them. And therefore, being that the worlds belong in the order of the finite and limited, nimtza she'ein hashpoas oirin sof mislabesh u'mizgala b'hem b'bchinas gilui. So therefore, it follows that the light of the Ein Sof is not clothing itself, not revealing itself. Rak me'at meze'er. Only an extremely minute and contracted, only minute and contracted reflection of the flow of the infinite light of the blessed Ein Sof goes into and clothing itself into the world. And this is only to animate them in a finite and revealed state. In order for the creation to come about, there must necessarily be at least some glimmer of godly illumination, albeit in an extremely limited form. For this enables creation to be finite and bounded. But the principal light that is without contraction to such an extent is called makif and circular and soivev and compasser. Since the influence is not revealed within the worlds, inasmuch as they belong in the order of finite and limited. So what does it mean? So that means that the word, the light that Hashem animates this world is after the contraction. It's a very limited light. But the truth is that you can ask the question. He says that the light, which is the unlimited light, is concealed. And the light that animates the world, the limited light, this is in a revealed way. But you can ask the question, is it really revealed? I mean, even the light that brings the world into being, is that revealed? You don't see the light, you don't see Hashem, you see physical things. So how could you say that this is revealed and this is not revealed? Both of them are not revealed. However, Chassidus explains that there's a difference between the concealed light being concealed and the revealed light being concealed. There are two types of concealment. There's some light that is concealed because it cannot be revealed at all. And some light is concealed because you don't feel it. You don't see the concealment. What do I mean? Just to use an example. If let's talk about their thought, somebody's thought. When you look at someone, you cannot see his thoughts. Why? Because the thought is not something that can be revealed. It is, at least not in the tools that we have. So the thought is concealed, but in essence, it is a concealed thing. You don't see. The thoughts you cannot see. But then there is the light, let's say the soul, that a person has a soul. Some people, you have to convince that they have a soul. They think that the body lives by nature, I don't know. But it is easy to explain When you see a person, God forbid, is dead, you see that the body is there, but it's not moving. So you can explain, you can see that there is a soul to the body. However, you don't feel it because the soul is so much invested in the body that it becomes one with the body, and you take it for granted that I live. So this is a light is also concealed, but it's concealed not because in essence it's concealed. You can appreciate it. You can sense that you have a soul. You go to sleep. You wake up. You're not the same when you sleep. So that is something. The same thing also with the light that Hashem gives into this world. It is a light that you don't see God, but if you think about it, if you look deeper, you can sense the godliness. But the endless light is truly concealed. Just like the thoughts is not something that can be revealed to you, at least not in the tools that we have. So the same thing, we're talking about the endless light of Hashem, the limitless light of Hashem, that is truly concealed. That is truly concealed. And when you have miracles happening in this world, this is like a bridge between the two. Sometimes Hashem comes and brings miracles into the world to bring the vitality, bring the godliness more in a revealed way. So all of this, the Alter Rebbe explains to us so that we take it to understand what Hashem, the greatness of Hashem, how far that even the light that animates the world and all the entire world, everything, is nothing and has no value at all compared to the limitless light of Hashem. And yet Hashem reduced himself so much, as the Alter Rebbe will continue in this chapter, what this will takes, that what this we should take to our heart and see what we can do and what we can do for Hashem to connect to Him. So this is the end of today's shir. Thank you so much for joining. Once again, to remind you, if you want to send a name for a bracha for the Rebbe, I'm now at the Ohel, so you can send in a name. All the best. Any questions, we can take now questions. And don't forget to share. Share this with your fellows. Share and subscribe and click notification. All the best.